another lesson of Too Good for Drugs. Hope everybody's staying safe out there and being home. In today's lesson, we will talk about alcohol and addiction. Now, last week we talked about 9 peer pressure strategies to deal with peer pressure, and we'll quickly go over these strategies. It was steer clear, broken record, walk away, ignore, state the facts, say no, make an excuse, better idea, and reverse the pressure. Now, today we're going to talk about a drug that you might be pressured to use. It can interfere with your goals, and it can have major effects on your body. And today we're going to talk about alcohol. Now, with alcohol, there's a lot of consequences. And we're going to talk about 3 types of alcoholic beverages today. We're going to talk about beer, wine, and liquor. And today, for the beginning lesson, we're going to start the game. We'll start today's lesson with a riddle. Now, here's the riddle. One evening, 3 guys over the age of 21 went to a bar. Now, it's important that they were over 21 years old because that is the legal drinking age in the United States of America. Now, these 3 guys went to the bartender and asked for 3 different types of drinks. We had Herman ask for a 12 ounces of beer. We had Robert who asked for 5 ounces of wine. And we have Oscar who asked for the 1.5 ounces of liquor. So here's the riddle. Which of them ordered the most amount of alcohol? Is it Herman with the 12 ounces of beer? Robert with the 5 ounces of wine? Or is it Oscar with the 1.5 ounces of liquor? Now, you might be surprised that all 3 drinks contain the same amount of alcohol. Now, 1 12-ounce of beer is the same amount of alcohol as 1 5-ounce glass of wine, or 1.5 ounce shot of liquor. Remember, it's the amount of alcohol consumed, not the type of alcoholic drink. In the case of anyone else underage, the amount of alcohol consumed is what affects the body. Now, we know that beer, wine, and liquor all contain the same punch. So we also know that most kids your age do not drink alcohol. But you might be pressured to use it anyway. And we're going to do a true or false game, all right? Now, you answer at home if you think this statement is true or false, all right? So, first one, alcohol gives people energy. What do you think, true or false? The answer to that is false, because alcohol is a depressant, and depressant slows the body down. Next statement, alcohol affects the brain, true or false? The answer to that is true, because alcohol is a psychoactive drug. And what a psychoactive drug is, a drug that acts on the mind or the brain, all right? Now, last statement, number 3, regardless of age, alcohol affects everyone's brain the same way, true or false? And the answer to that is false. Now, alcohol is much more dangerous for a young person's brain than it is for an adult brain, because you all's brain is still developing, and alcohol use will slow down or stop the development of the brain. Now, some of you all might be pressured to try it one time, and some of your peers might say, hey, just this one time, it can't hurt. Now, what's the harm in trying this one time? Do you think someone who starts using a drug expects to become addicted? They don't. But addiction develops in stages, and the user is often unaware of its progression until it's too late. So we're going to go over the 4 different stages of addiction. So stage 1 is the first time use stage, where the first time user's initial experience typically occurs in a social setting, like a party where the drug is available. And the first time user might be curious just to try this one time and doesn't expect to become addicted. Now, stage 2 is the occasional use stage, where the occasional use stage, users don't purchase the drug and doesn't plan to use them regularly, but they only use the drug when it's available. However, occasional users start to develop a tolerance. And a tolerance is when your body develops a kind of strength for that type of drug. So instead of having 1 alcoholic drink to get a buzz, you might need 2 or 3 to deliver a buzz. Stage 3 is the planned use stage. And at this stage of addiction, the user buys drugs and plans when and where to use them. Now, drug use has been going on for some time now, and the drug begins to run the user's life. And the plain users also will experience withdrawal symptoms where the body is telling you that you need that drug, and your body starts to have different symptoms such as headaches and symptoms of being hungry and sometimes symptoms of depression because you don't have that drug. Now, stage 4 is the regular use stage. And at this stage, the drive to find and use the drug is all that matters despite the consequences. And the cravings are so strong, the user might have the drug on a regular basis just to feel normal. Now, keep in mind that while addiction follows a course of progressive stages, these stages progress in different rates for different people. Some users might stay at stage 1 for a long time, while others will go quickly from stage 1 to stage 4. Now, there's information all around us, and there's information that tries to entertain, sell, and persuade us. And we call these information media. Now, media comes in different forms: magazines, newspapers, television, video games, social media, email. And sometimes media can try to persuade things that you don't want or try to sell you things that you don't need. And that is the primary job of an advertiser. Now, for you all to be the smart media consumer, you have to figure out what's for you and what's not for you. And that's why you have to decipher which media messages are for you. And as for advertisers, they try to sell you things, including alcohol. So just because something's printed on a magazine or plastered on a billboard or on a social media site does not mean it's for you, okay? And as smart media literate consumers, you won't fall for these techniques, all right? Now, at home, I want you to try to do your own media prevention of alcohol prevention slogan. It can be a slogan, it can be a drawing, it could be anything, it could be a movie scene, anything. Just try to think of something where you know the effects of alcohol that we talked about today, how it affects the brain, how it can cause bad decision making. And think of the 9 peer pressure strategies that we talked about last week to make your prevention message, all right? Now, remember, alcohol isn't always what it seems, and alcohol can permanently damage a young person's brain. And it's important that with your understanding on how advertising works, you will help you to filter messages inconsistent with your goals, all right? So next week, we will talk about what influences some teens to use tobacco products.